So we found that because of lockdown, people used our gardens through the wetter months. And rightly so, we wanted to introduce people and get them out because we really needed to give people that safe space. Consequently, our paths then soon turned to mud. So we soon found that to enable our visitors in summer, we would have to do something quite drastic.
Do one more before lunch, I think.
So as part of the government's Heritage Recovery Fund, we've managed to procure enough to do all our pathways. I've yet to measure out how many exactly we're doing, but these loads here are 30 tonnes each, so we're well over 100 tonne of material which is going down. And this is a way that we can make the garden safe for visitors. We also become an all-weather garden, which is great. So this is pretty much the closest we could get to the original red, which of course was brick shale. This is a product called fire chip, and we get it delivered from, there's pretty much only one quarry in the country that does it, so we're lucky to have found them. And yeah, a couple more loads before the end of June, and I think we'll have spent up our recovery fund. The thing is, we've only got our little trusty trailer, sadly, which is in need a little bit of repair, and we have the good nature of Jack Elliott, who's one of the local civil engineers, who's graciously given a loan of his digger for a couple of days. Although the red chipping is costly, to put in brand new paths with that level of foundation would have been, 10 times as much again. So we've taken muddy, wet paths, found their historic value, and then reintroduced them back into the garden. When you look around pretty much this whole environment, everywhere from Elsecar to Hoyland, it's all just red brick shale, which everyone thinks it was, a masterpiece, a masterful stroke of genius. Actually, it's just a waste product. We don't have the brickworks around here anymore. So this is where it all ends up. This is where 29 tonnes of gravel from Scotland ends up. As you can see underneath there, we've got, which is the historic foundations of the paths. So there's no easy way to do this. It is really shovels, barrows and rakes. And as you can see, it shows every plant off that we've got in the garden, and it makes the areas become a bit more unified as well. So they become woodland borders rather than just all part of one thing. And they follow now all the way down. And the beauty of these paths is that you never see the full garden on one walk. As you walk up here, then more and more is revealed, like the wonderful idea of garden rooms. So you never see the full garden in one full sweep.
I've been working on this project for the best part of 2.5 months now. The first of the loads of gravel, they came in February. It was so cold at night when they delivered the gravel into the stables, it actually froze overnight. And as volunteers, we had to chisel it through before we could actually use it. But the difference it's made, because in February when we had to close the gardens because they were basically unsafe because the paths were too slippy, we dug all of the historical paths out and then started to lay this gravel down, but we didn't have enough budget to buy all the gravel that we needed. So we had to secure some more budget, and this is the second load. But you can see just here the difference it's made. You've got beautiful, spacious paths, and with a little bit of walking, these will compact down really, really well. A little bit of rain tonight, which is forecast. They'll all be nice and solid, and we'll get away from the uneven muddiness, which is what we did have before we laid the gravel.
The important thing to help create a warm welcome for absolutely everybody, and that includes folk who are disabled and parents with prams and youngsters, it means that once this is flattened down, access with any sort of wheeled buggy or pram is relatively easy. So our job is to help with that warm welcome and make sure that it's as smooth as it possibly can be. The reward in seeing what you've done is just a great aspect of what we do. We're in a beautiful garden, and for many years it just had 2 gardeners looking after the whole place. And it was impossible for them to keep on top of absolutely everything. So a few years ago, the first set of the Wellywangers joined us, and that was closely followed by the Wednesday group, which is the Bramble Bashers. And between all of us, I think there's around about 30 different volunteers, and we all have a hand in making sure that the garden is as nice as it can be under the tutelage of Scott, who's the head gardener.
So this week is a historic week in the gardens at Wentworth Woodhouse. We've just put down the last few tons of the red fire chip, which now cover many miles of the gardens in Wentworth Woodhouse, and the visitors this week can walk for many miles on these wonderful pathways.
So it's really nice to have the visitors back and see them wandering around the gardens and on our newly laid paths. It leads them round to the Camellia House and the various other points of interest. So it's a lot of hard work, but it's really paid off.
So today we're visiting Wentworth Woodhouse, and we've had a really lovely day strolling around the gardens. It's so easy to get around, which is awesome, because we've been able to see everything that Wentworth has to offer. And actually it makes me feel like I can come back again all by myself and not have to worry about bumping the buggy up lots of steps, and I could meet other mums here for a coffee, which would be really nice. So yeah, we've been able to walk through the woodland paths and see the grizzly bear and the long terrace. We've seen, haven't we? And we've seen the Ionic Temple, and we've seen the summer borders, which have been beautiful, and then of course the house itself. So it's been a really nice day out, and yeah, little one's had a really good sleep on some very smooth new paths.
You were agreeing, weren't you?
So yeah, we've had a lovely day, and I can't believe we've not been here before, but we will definitely be back.
Falling asleep again, little bear.